Skirt, skirt. Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's, I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli, it's leaving I levy. No sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm Coos. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. Got slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit up my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboy Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's stream. We have an absolutely massive Saturday college basketball slate today. 140 plus games. It is insane. It's like Christmas.
It's always Christmas.
Yeah, every day is Christmas with college basketball, right? Never been happier, never been less frustrated with stupid Horizon League teams.
Well, I was gonna say it's every day's like Christmas until you get coal in your stocking or Santa doesn't come.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of been like that recently in college basketball. It feels like we're kind of at the time of the year where some teams are just chalking it up for waiting for next year. That type of deal.
Looking forward to the CBI and losing the first round and doing whatever else they want to do.
Exactly. It sounds like a dream.
Do you think sometimes they're like, "Oh fuck, we made the CBI"? I think that's the thing. Like they're pissed.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'd probably rather just go on vacation.
The seniors maybe are like, "Oh yeah, I get another game," but like if you're an underclassman, you're just kind of like it's like a participation thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So hope everyone in the chat is doing well. I see first comment that came in. Big Teddy said, "God, I hope Ben is on stream. I have some good news for you."
Wait, was he worried that I was like what?
Well, I mean, it's usually not you. It's not you more often than it is you.
So he's happy to see me.
He's happy to see you.
Okay,
It's like double Christmas for Big Teddy. Right? 140 college basketball games, and Ben is on stream.
Sounds like a good day to me.
And Pick 6 says, "Oh snap, like the new category." We do have a new category making its debut today. Probably going to change up the graphic moving forward for that category, but we got what we got right now.
Wait, why?
Because we're going to change the name on the graphic.
Oh.
The name in the category doesn't match the name on the graphic. That'll be fixed.
Oh, the picture's fine though.
Yeah, picture's fine.
Oh, it's
just the text needs to change.
Picture? Gotcha.
So hope everyone's good. I see we got Dustin says, "Morning, who we hammer for all the coins." That's what we're here for. By the end of the stream, hopefully we will have figured that out. Need data mining too. He will be on Monday, I'm pretty sure. What's up, Peyton? What's up, Larry? Let's talk more money making. I like the way you think. Let's go ahead and hop into category number 1.
Degenerates only.
I was looking at Ballsack State -4 against Dickhead State. Ballsacks covered their last 10 straight games, and my boy says they're a wagon.
So category number 1, degenerates only. We are going to be talking about everybody's favorite degenerate team this year, who has suddenly kind of turned into an okay basketball team.
Are they a wagon?
The last couple days. Is IUP a wagon? Not clickbait.
IUPUI motivated by walk-on tryouts?
IUPUI scared by walk-ons actually started playing.
Maybe that. Oh, see, it was a motivational strategy.
It's very possible. Maybe seeing the tryouts, seeing all of the talent at the school lit a fire.
Hey, Nick,
under this
Indiana,
IUPUI team.
good basketball school. I bet there's a few guys out there hooping. Like there's probably some 5'9" guy. He was hitting shots, but they're like, he's probably too short to make the team.
Yeah, I agree. And well played. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
So, I don't know if any of the walk-ons are playing for IUPUI. They're still running a 6-man rotation, and
No.
it's kind of the same 6 guys it's been all year.
So the rumor is that they were only practice players. So I don't think you can dress if that's the case.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So IUPUI in their last 2 games, so 2 games ago, both of these on the road, against Illinois Chicago, it was a very, very close loss that they had. Just a 3-point loss to them. And then against Robert Morris, last time out, in Moon, Pennsylvania, they knocked off Robert Morris, got their first D1 win of the season. They take a trip, not even an hour down the road, like 30 minutes down the road from Robert Morris to Youngstown State today, where Youngstown State is favored by 17.5 points, despite IUPUI playing probably their 2 best games of the season in their last 2 games. Over-under in this game, everybody loves IUPUI unders, set at 126. So, Ben, what do you got here?
Well, first off, it's just so hard to bet IUPUI in any form or fashion, because if you bet them and then they don't cover, it almost feels like you lost more than you actually did. It's like a pride thing, right? You're like, wait, you bet on IUPUI? Why? Right? But hey, if it feels like the right side, that's fine. But I really do expect some regression from IUPUI, Nick. I really do.
Me too.
When you watch them play, a lot of their possessions are literally coming down to the end of the shot clock, and they're firing up some wild shots. And in that Robert Morris game, they were hitting some pretty crazy shots.
Did you actually watch it?
So I saw some clips and some highlights.
Are your eyes okay? Have you seen a doctor since then?
I hope I'm okay. There was a lot of fluke shit happening, and the ball was going in the hoop that they've been shooting very similarly the whole season, and that wasn't the case. I will say that their turnovers are, I think, down a little bit, which that's something that you can control a little bit, right? Like, to some extent, like focusing on that.
Yeah.
But I just think Youngstown State, IUPUI coming on the road, I think this is a good spot for Youngstown State to win by 20 plus points. So I like Youngstown State. This is a stronger lean for me.
I agree. I actually like this quite a bit. So what I think is funny is IUP cutting down their turnovers resulted in them turning the ball over 14 times against Illinois Chicago and 12 times against Robert Morris. That's like a good game for them. Mm-hmm. Also, speaking of crazy shots, IUPUI did actually shoot 50% from 3 in their win against Robert Morris. So that's another pretty obvious spot where there's some regression due.
I mean, what was their best 3-point shooting game before that 9 for 23 spot against Fort Wayne?
I don't have the full numbers. I mean, they shoot 28.3% on the year. That's like double. So 50% is nearly double their season average from 3. That's like twice as many made threes as you should expect from them.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I like Youngstown State here. I actually think that this is a pretty decent Youngstown State team. They're playing quite well. 17-11 on the season, 11-7 in conference, and they kind of seem to be the one Horizon League team who, except for against Robert Morris, who they've lost to twice this year, have kind of been free from the crazy collapses we've seen from so many other schools in this conference. I think this is a good spot for IUP or for Youngstown State to get some practice in, run up the score a little bit. So I like this as well. Taking a look at the chat poll results, and for anybody who might be new to the stream, there are polls that are going to pop up for each of these games. Let your voices be heard. Top vote getter by far is IUPUI plus the points, and the under. Second highest vote getter is Youngstown State. Oh, those Youngstown State should be minus, not plus. I'm assuming everybody knew that because nobody voted for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
and the under. So chat likes the under 126. Not so surprising considering IUPUI is involved in this game. And Ben and I are both going to take Youngstown minus, not plus, 17 and a half. And the widgets are working today, which is great.
One thing I want to point out real quick is I think if you like an under with Youngstown State, with IUPUI, like any game at this point, I think you should lean to the under team total.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's because I really could see Youngstown State. Actually, they play IUPUI plays Milwaukee in Green Bay the next two games, which is going to be really interesting at home. Two really bad teams too. So, but we'll talk. One of those probably makes the degenerate only.
Yeah, probably. This will probably not be the last time Youngstown State is featured on the stream. So Big Teddy, I see in the chat, says, I went to IUPUI. There are 50 dudes better who play rec ball but just don't have the grades. Yeah, I feel like this IUPUI program won't be this bad. There's just too much basketball talent in Indianapolis for the school to be bad. So now let's go ahead and move along to category number 2.
Payback game.
Back to back like I'm Jordan 96, 97, whoa.
Robbed you in your city and you told. Tory from the 6, you hating on him, Lord knows.
I'm out here looking for revenge.
So category number 2, our new category, Payback's a Bitch. This is where we are featuring a pair of teams that played a close, hard-fought game earlier in the season. And we are interested in seeing if the team that lost the first game is going to come back and get their revenge, eke out a win in game number 2. So the game that we have chosen for this category today is the game between Illinois and Michigan State. This is definitely one of the best games on the slate today. Game starting in about half an hour. These two teams played earlier in the season on January 25th. Illinois had a 1-point win against Michigan State. It was looking like a pretty easy Illinois win the whole way. Michigan State had a comeback and just couldn't quite get there. Ended up losing by 1. So the line in this game, we have Michigan State 1.5-point underdogs at home. Total set at 137. But Ben, since this is a payback game, and since this is only 1.5 points, I don't really care about the spread. I just want to know who wins.
That's a great question. So the first thing I look at is what kind of went down in that first matchup. It was a weird game, right? 56-55. Illinois pulling it off. Who wins? It's a great question. I am going to have to lean with Illinois. This Michigan State team, I just don't trust. And, you can look at the last 5-6 games one of two ways. You can say, like, well, they're just going through a rough patch. Michigan State is, and they're going to turn things around. But that Penn State loss it's a bad loss. A really bad loss to Rutgers. Look, I get it's the rack and all that, but you lost by 21 points.
Yeah.
So I kind of lean Illinois here, but I'm looking at the chat. Do we have some injuries that we have to watch out for?
No, so there's no injuries in this game, but Brian, I think, just made the key point.
I see what he's saying.
Is that the first time that these teams met, there were some pretty extreme injury issues for Illinois. Kofi Coburn and Andre Curbelo were both absent from that game.
Right.
And Illinois, still, even without their best two players, for sure their best player and probably second best player. Maybe, actually. I don't know. I guess Curbelo was kind of supposed to be their best player this year, but kind of didn't happen.
Cockburn's kind of the more
Coburn
consistent.
is definitely the best player on this team.
Cockburn.
I've heard. I think it's actually pronounced Coburn.
I know, but
we can say Cockburn. I don't know. I get called out for calling it Cockburn, and I get called out for calling it Coburn. You can't win.
Can't win.
But you know who can win?
Let's go to Cockburn.
is Illinois. And yeah, Curbelo does ball. Curbelo is a beast. Just been a little inconsistent, injury riddled this year. And I'm with Ben. I think that Illinois takes this game. Do I feel really comfortable betting on a Big Ten team on the road? No, I don't. Do I think that this is a good matchup for Illinois? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking the Illini here as well. I think that they get the season sweep over the Spartans, and Michigan State does not get their revenge.
Mm-hmm. And the revenge narratives in a lot of these games today, with these spots where teams are playing each other for the second time this season, a lot of that is factored in some of these lines. So that is important to touch on, because you're not tricking the books by being like, oh, it's a revenge spot, right? What you really need to do is you need to look at what happened in the first game. And first of all, like injuries, right? You got to know who was playing, but let's just say that everyone was in. See how they played and see how each team performed. And is it on par with how they've performed all season with certain statistics, or was it an outlier? And I think that's a good starting point, right, Nick? Just on figuring out what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And Brian, once again, with the excellent points in the chat. Rebounding problems for Michigan State. Yep. And this Illinois team with Coburn on the inside and other tall, lengthy guys. It's not a good team you want to be missing shots against.
Yeah.
If you're looking for second possessions.
And Michigan State's been pretty cold from three the last 3 games, so they're coming off a 5 for 16 performance, so they're gonna, you know what? Like, I look at this and I say, Tom Izzo, he's gonna turn it around, but is this the game, right?
Yeah, is this the game? I don't think so. It might be, but I don't think it is.
Iowa on the road and then Purdue next Saturday at home.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like look ahead issue here.
No,
but it's just a gauntlet in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it is. They got a tough stretch coming up, Nick.
Yeah, I mean the entire Big Ten conference slate is a tough stretch.
It is. Yeah, it is.
There's no gimmies unless you host Nebraska.
There's no IUPUI in your conference, so
except for Nebraska.
Oh yeah, Nebraska CBI.
Nebraska, no, Nebraska can already make their golf reservations.
All right, let's stop talking about volleyball schools here.
All right, so let's talk about a couple basketball schools instead. In category number 3,
Mid-major spotlight.
Millions on the table, that's major. I turn dirt into diamonds, that's major.
So category number 3, mid-major spotlight. We said that these aren't volleyball schools. I don't know if they have volleyball teams or not.
Yeah, we're not trying to disrespect.
They probably do, actually. I think pretty much everybody has a volleyball team, if for no other reason than Title IX.
Volleyball school is their top school.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah.
So we are talking, going to the A10 today, talking about St. Louis and Davidson. A couple excellent mid-major teams. There's a lot of games today, but this is going to be a good one. So Davidson is at home in this game. 2.5-point favorites. Over/under is currently set at 143. So Ben, both of these teams can shoot the lights out.
They can.
But which one do you think is gonna play a little better today?
Man, St. Louis has burned me a few times this year, but I always try to take that out of the equation because that's how you get into tough spots, right? Like, St. Louis burned me, I'm on Davidson, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need to be somewhat unbiased. I know it's hard to take the emotion out of things at times, but I do like this Davidson team, Nick.
This Davidson team is really good.
Yeah,
Foster
pretty...
Lawyer is insane. Luka Brakovic is insane. Hyunjung Lee is insane. There's a lot of talent on this team.
Yeah, they're really good, and they're a team, Nick, that I don't think will get in the tournament if they don't win the conference. This is how it's going to be based on their non-conference.
I think they will.
You think they will?
I think they're in.
I don't think bracketology had them in, or
fuck bracketology
stuff. fuck Lenardi. Okay.
Actually, maybe they don't. But either way,
yeah. Whether we think they're in or not, I think their goal obviously is to win the conference, win the Atlantic 10, A10, and St. Louis though, really good team, also. So, this is probably the toughest one of the ones we're covering today, and I'm gonna lean slightly to Davidson. But man, this is one of those games, Nick, where if you can find a live line, anything over like 4 in this game, you might want to jump on it. I feel like it's gonna be very, very close at the end, one way or another.
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to middle as well, I would say.
Yep.
So I'm actually going to disagree with you here, Ben. I'm going to take the Billikens in this one. Partially because the model has St. Louis covering this game. But I don't know. I like this spot for them. So the types of teams that St. Louis loses to is very strong defensive teams, right? They got swept in back-to-back games by St. Bonaventure. They lost to Dayton. And these more kind of high offense temes in the A10. There's a lot of extremes in the A10 stylistically. Like you have schools like Dayton and VCU who are crazy good defensively and really struggle to put the ball in the basket. And then on the flip side, you have schools like St. Joe's and UMass who aren't necessarily so good, but will just fly up and down the court.
Yeah.
And Davidson is a little bit weird because they play very slow, but their offense is very efficient. But that's more the style of team that St. Louis has some success against. So for that reason, I'm taking St. Louis. And I agree with what Craig just said. I mean, St. Louis, it feels like it's either a no-doubter 20 minutes in or like it's chalked 20 minutes in. The one thing that concerns me here for St. Louis that has burned me on them a couple times is they have a tendency to foul a lot, especially in the second half of games. I've seen it happen multiple times this year. And this Davidson team is extremely good from the line. So that's my one concern. But I am taking St. Louis.
The other thing to watch for in this one is, I mean, I always bring up this point, but it's, you could say it for a lot of teams, but especially St. Louis is the 3 ball for them. They've been heating up a little bit. We'll see if that can continue. or we'll see if Davidson really tries to run them off the line in this one, try to force them to get the ball down low. I wanted to touch on the total, Nick, because I think naturally a lot of people are flying to bet the over. This is an interesting line because I think we could get some really good defense in this one, but both offenses are still pretty efficient. So I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I think people see Davidson and they think overs because the offense is so efficient, but people don't realize how. Yeah, the ghost of Steph Curry. I mean, his still there. Davidson plays extremely slow. They are on KenPom 320th in the country in pace. So if shots are not falling, that can be an issue for an over, especially with the total this high. Like I was talking about before, the reason that I don't like the under, the model does lean the under here, but is the fact that I've seen multiple St. Louis games this year turn into free throw shooting contests, which just makes a game fly over the total. So I think that there's a lot of risk involved. This isn't the type of game that I'd want to touch an under on, even though in a vacuum, like that's where I would go. That's where I would go.
I agree with that.
So the chat on this game likes Davidson. So Davidson minus 2.5 on the over was the number one vote getter. Davidson minus 2.5, and the under was the number 2 vote getter. So chat is with you on this one, Ben. Fading me, tailing you, but that's okay. That means one of us is going to be right.
That's how it works out, unless it's a push.
Well, at 2.5, I kind of doubt it.
You know what? The refs these days.
Yeah, true. There's going to be there's going to be a buzzer beater attempt, and it's going to get stuck in the side of the rim, like wedged between the rim and the backboard. They're just going to count it for half a point just for fun.
People would lose their fucking minds.
Yeah, they would. So I see a couple questions in the chat about the Kentucky game, which I think is a really interesting one, and about Iowa also. We can touch on some other games on the slate once we've wrapped up everything that we're planning on talking about. There's not really anything pressing that we have to go do. So I'd be happy to answer some questions on stuff.
Craig, good stuff in the chat, man. Appreciate because I mean, there's so many effing games. Like, it's little nuggets like that are good.
Yeah, 140 plus games today. It's crazy. All right, so let's go ahead now and move along to category number 4.
Game of the day.
The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star.
So category number 4 was another candidate for the revenge game today. Going with it for game of the day instead because I just think it's a little bit of a better game. The two were really interchangeable though for these two spots. And that game is the game between Texas Tech and Texas. So Chris Beard at Texas gets to host his old school for the first time. Texas in this game, 3.5 point favorites at home. Over under is sitting at 128.5. So Ben, what are your thoughts here?
Well, my first thoughts is the first game, and you talk about a lot of emotion for him, right? Like going back to your old school. Obviously, they were not welcoming.
It was not a friendly environment.
They were eager to, I think, play him and see him, not welcoming. And I really think, like, this statement could piss off some of the analytics people, but I really think like that type of emotion can really get into the game, and just the way you prepare for the game, the preparation and practice. I mean, we can all admit that Chris Beard's one of the best coaches in college basketball, but I think at some point you have to really be honest and say like that affects a head coach, right? I don't know how much it affected him. Like, it's hard to put that on a scale, like a quantifiable number, but now he gets to face Texas again at home. And Texas Tech, and I'm gonna have to go with Texas, Nick.
Yeah, so I think it is important to touch on a couple injury issues for both of these teams. Mm-hmm. So Trey Mitchell is, I believe, not playing for Texas today. At least I haven't received any reports that he's back. He before the last game is taking a personal leave of absence for whatever reason. And I didn't see anything about him being back for this game. So I don't think he's playing. And that's a pretty big loss for this Texas team. Trey Mitchell is a solid inside-outside big man. And I guess this Texas team does have some size and some depth. But he's a good player. And on Texas Tech, there are a couple players, or at least one important player, listed as questionable for this game. That is Kevin McCullough, who is their third leading scorer. I think that he's been out for the last few games. Yeah, he hasn't played since the game against TCU a week ago. Which, so he missed the last game against Baylor. But that is another thing to consider if he's going to be out. So I will say the thing that I like in this game is the under at 128.5. Both of these teams are much better defensively than they are offensively. Both of these teams play very slow. And I do kind of think that while the last time that these two teams played, the total went way over. It was set at 122.5 last time. Mm-hmm. And we're all the way up to 128.5 in this one. And that game finished at 141. I'm not expecting to see the same kind of intensity, especially from Texas Tech, on the offensive end. I think that this is going to be a much more slow, methodical game. So, for that reason, I like the under. I will say, again, for the same reason as St. Louis, this game does kind of scare me. Texas fouls a ton. So we could see this game decided at the free throw line. In that game, the last time that these two teams played, there were 49 free throw attempts. Which, I mean, if you're on an under this low, that can just absolutely kill it.
Ooh, I got a really fun fact here, Nick.
What's your fun fact?
The caffeine and Adderall just started to click. Boom, got it. Okay, so I'm looking at that Texas Tech first matchup of the season, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, that total, right, flew over. Why, right? If you go back and look historically at Texas this year, over the last almost 15 games, minus the San Jose State game, way earlier in the season, back in November, this was one of their highest tempo games of the season. Now, we would have to extrapolate some of that data and see, like, was that late in the second half when they were down? Like, kind of the which came first, the chicken or the egg? But I could see that, back to my emotion standpoint with Chris Beard, I wonder if things got kind of, the emotion and the crowd kind of changed up how they played a little bit, because they played at a very fast pace, and that's not really what they're, gonna do. They're ranked near the bottom in tempo.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said. I think that the emotions are going to be different in this game. They're still going to be strong, but I don't think that they're going to lead to the kind of frenetic up and down the court running like we saw last time. So some questions in the chat. Yeah, Trey Mitchell did play the last time that these two teams played? Oh yeah, and Pee Weezy just answered that also. And Ben, I want to make sure you were on Texas, right?
Yes, I am. I am on Texas.
Okay. So chat on this one actually agrees with me.
What?
So Texas Tech to cover and the under, and Texas in the under, tied for top vote. QWERTY said might smack the over. Might not be a bad play. Fade chat.
What if people just come in here and fade chat?
I mean, you never know.
I think chat actually is over 500, believe it or not.
I think so too. I think chat's usually pretty good. Speaking of chat being good, it is time for the last category of the day, which is our top plays for the day. And in order to make a poll for what chat's top play of the day is, I need to know what chat's top plays are. So if you guys have any bets that you like, your favorite bets, list them out in the chat so I can take a couple and put them in the poll. And as always, if you're on a spread, give me the team and the number. There's too many teams to go look up numbers. If you're on a total, give me the two teams and the number that the total's at. And if it's a money line, give me the team and the price of the money line. I will play the video intro real quick, the video clip. Let you guys type some stuff out.
Big brain plays.
Come on. Think. Brain blast!
So I see several, I think 3 Syracuse is in the chat. So we'll put Syracuse minus 8.5 in there.
That's a good one. I'll touch on that game after I give my pick.
Okay. Yogi's said Syracuse at least 3 times now. Very passionate about this play.
It tricks me where you're like, wow, a lot of Syracuses. Oh, for one person.
Yeah. I mean, you had to do this once. You know how it goes. I think we've seen a couple Iowas. Oh, that was also the same person twice? That's okay. We'll put Iowa plus 5.5 in there. Somebody asked about that earlier.
Montana State.
Plus 2.5.
I like to have at least I guess there's a few dogs.
We'll throw that in there.
State.
Auburn minus 4.5. I've seen Auburn twice. And let's add in a total. Let's go. What was the first one posted?
I see NDSU. No, never mind. I didn't see it.
Buffalo, Western Michigan, over 146.
Jeez, that screams action. Oh yeah, Q starts in a few.
Yeah, we can touch real quick after we run through our top bets. Just anything starting up at the top of the hour. But Ben.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we should. Well, what should we talk about that real quick? We got 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean we can. My play's not at the.
Yeah, let's do that. I just want to make a point about Syracuse real quick.
Yeah.
So I was on Syracuse in this first matchup, and it's literally one of the best matchups Syracuse will have all season. Just the way that Boston College shoots 3, and I believe they're Nick, pretty much like bottom, and they don't shoot 3s a lot too. That's another important thing. Like, I think the 3-point rate is important too, because they don't want to shoot 3s. They also don't shoot the 3 ball well, but they're coming off, Nick, a 10 for 23 game from the perimeter. I don't think. I mean, before that they were 1 for 12, 6 for 28, 5 for 21. So, what does the model say there?
Model has this as basically a coin toss, I think. Yeah. I have Syracuse by like 9.5. I think that the other thing that the reason why this line probably is at more 8.5 than 9.5 is some injury concerns on Syracuse's side. So starting center Jesse Edwards is out for the year. He missed their last game against Virginia Tech. He got hurt against Boston College the last time that these two teams played. And Syracuse lost that game against Virginia Tech. I mean, Virginia Tech is a team all up and down the lineup who can get hot from three. So that's a bad matchup for Syracuse, but still.
Why has Syracuse only played one game? They haven't played since Saturday. Interesting. Maybe that's just how it worked out. It's a long layoff for this point in the season.
Yeah, it is.
But anyways, just something, because I looked and I'm like, wait, Boston College was their second to last game. What? That seems so long ago, which it kind of was. It was on the 8th, but anyways.
Yeah, I think, though, that even though there are some potential injury concerns with Syracuse, with Edwards being out, I mean, that it affects the rebounding. Mm-hmm. For Syracuse, they had plenty of... I mean, Syracuse had a kind of bad offensive game against Boston College and still managed to cover on the road. I'm actually going to go ahead right now and put in a little action on Syracuse before that starts.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Let me get to mine here. So
yeah.
Let's talk about what I like. I'm curious if this is going to surprise you, Nick. So I like Stanford -2.5 at home against Colorado. This Colorado team right now is actually playing pretty decent basketball, right? They've won 4 straight, but they played Oregon State, Utah, Oregon State, California. So kind of bottom of the Pac-12, right? Oregon State right now, I have no clue what the hell happened to that team. Utah is kind of blah. California, blah. But they won, on the road, Oregon State, California, last 2 games. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. This is their 3rd game in how many days? That's 4, right?
Third and five.
Third and five. Stanford's a team that hasn't been playing the best ball, but I think this is kind of a get-right game. And I'm not just saying that because I want this to support my narrative. I really do think Colorado playing that 3rd game in 5 on the road, traditionally against a Tad Boyle head coach who has not been the best cover head coach on the road. I'm just hard-pressed that he's going to have 3 straight covers. And Colorado has been shooting decently from the perimeter. If that stops, Nick, there is a 10% chance they cover this. Like, they are so reliant on the 3 ball right now, where I think Stanford can key in on that. And I really think this is a good spot for Stanford to win by 5+ points. So the model likes it too as well. I believe it has Stanford by 4.5.
Yep.
And that's my best play of the day.
Yeah, I like this. So Colorado against the spread on the road is always kind of sketch. And like you said, I mean, they've shot better than 40% from 3 in every game on their 4-game winning streak against some bad teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is like Oregon State is obviously pretty bad. California, I think, is worse than some of their numbers show. And Nick, I feel like Stanford's kind of hungry. It's weird to say, but they're not gonna just let Colorado roll in here and win this game.
Yeah, I like this one quite a bit. So before I say mine, chat poll results are in. Chat likes Auburn today, -4.5 on the road at Florida.
Auburn's the new, well, I shouldn't say new like they replaced them, but the new Gonzaga. Like everyone's like, hey, we're on Auburn.
Yeah, so Auburn on the road, sketch.
Yeah.
That's the only word I have for this game is sketch.
It is very
so
sketch.
Auburn, I mean, everybody knows Auburn on the road. It's just close game after close game after close game after close game, finally culminating in them finally losing last time out on the road against Arkansas. They've played well in their 2 games since then at home, but for me, this is a team that, despite the fact that I think that they're a much better team than Florida, I just need to see them perform on the road before I can put money on them on the road.
Yeah, and you've been like that as a bettor, which I like, right? Because then you're not playing into the it's due. They're due, right? Or I shouldn't say due. Well, they're due to lose, right? You're like, no, like I wanna wait to see versus trying to just, because then you're just kind of just picking. You're guessing, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, are they going to have like, are they going to struggle again on the road like they have been all season, or are they gonna like have they gotten it out of their system?
Yeah,
type of deal.
Yeah, and it's a small sample size in that sense, so I think that's always a good way to approach it, especially when you have so many games on the board, right? There's that's my opinion on it.
It's going to be an interesting game. I don't feel compelled to bet it. Hinkle says Auburn hasn't won at Florida since 1996.
Is that true?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, traditionally Florida's been an excellent basketball school and Auburn's been terrible. So I wouldn't be surprised.
If that's true, that's a crazy stat. That really, like, think about how often they play each other. Nick might be on Gonzaga.
Who knows? I might be. I haven't even looked at the Gonzaga game yet.
I want.
Oh no, Santa Clara is one of my darling teams.
Let's talk about that game
Santa
after
Clara.
you give your pick. I actually have something I want to say there because
Okay.
a few people wanted to hear about Gonzaga.
Yeah. So my favorite pick today. This might make some people uncomfortable. Ben, you might like this one.
Oh.
Maybe. I mean, we talked about it last night in that Discord call that we were all in. I like Eastern Washington against Idaho today. So this line is sitting at Eastern Washington minus 4.5 right now at Idaho. I think that the only reason why this line is sitting at 4.5 as opposed to number like 7.5 is Idaho's last two games. So Idaho is a team that can get a little bit hot at home. They've played a couple of really good games against some actually legitimately good teams at home this year. They beat San Diego State at home. And then in their last two games, they knocked off, straight up, Weber State and Montana at home. They were a 10.5-point underdog to Weber State. They were a 7.5-point underdog to Montana. And they won both of those games. They were close games. But Idaho shot the lights out in those two games. They were 8 of 20 from 3 against Weber State. And quick math, they were 23 for 33 from 2. And this Idaho team isn't that good. It was even worse against Montana. They shot 60% from 3, 9 of 15. And I don't think that that's going to happen. This is a team that over the course of the entire season has shown that they're just not that good. And I think that after a couple hot games, good value spot for Eastern Washington.
Yeah, and I think Eastern Washington is starting to play some good basketball at the right time. And they knocked off a really good Montana State team.
Yeah, I think this Eastern Washington team is good. Are they as good as they were last year with the Groves brothers? No.
Nah.
But it's still a solid team.
Mm-hmm. And, it's one of my favorite conferences, Big Sky. Nick, we have to admit, it is one of the most underrated conferences, I would say.
I think the Big Sky is like number 2 behind the Horizon League for highest proportion of fluky, wacky shit that happens at the end of games this year.
Okay, well, that's true. That there is a lot of fluke shit. But I will say, like, the Montana State, Weber State, Montana, Eastern Washington's,
and the disrespect to Southern Utah.
And Southern Utah, yeah. I think, those teams probably going to be a 14, 15 seed.
Yeah, I think Eastern Washington was a 13 last year, right?
Yeah. Oh, man, that game, I had 3 units on that game. I almost pissed my pants. Yeah. The only thing that scares me with this, Nick, is if Idaho actually fundamentally did something different, but I don't really see
I don't think that there's a fundamental change that you make to go 60% from 3. That's luck, right? We're going to see guys
exactly.
today in the NBA 3-point shooting contest who don't shoot 60% from 3.
Yeah.
And they're professionals and they're wide open.
Yeah. And I actually agree with you on that because I was on Montana in that game that they won by 6, and Montana was up 10, and Idaho couldn't miss. I don't know what the hell they put in the potatoes lately, but they're hot from 3. But I think, Nick, fundamentally, right, I know we've talked a lot about like the luck involved with 3-point shot and 3-point defense, and I do agree that there is something to that. But also at the same time, you can scheme to say we're going to run teams off the line, which basically means you're closing them out, right? You're protecting the perimeter at all costs. I wonder if that will be the case in this one, where they just say like, hey, if anyone has a somewhat open shot, we are protecting the perimeter at all. Like we'll let them drive by, kick it out, rotate. This is going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
So
I will say there's a lot of good basketball today. I would not recommend watching this game over other games unless you have action on it.
Yeah.
But I will probably be tuning in.
Mm-hmm. And let's run through a few games here. one thing real quick before the Gonzaga game. Air Force played Gonzaga. Nick lays the 60. That's factual. No, it would probably have to be 30. Nick would probably lay a 30 on
against Air Force, I would lay
20 actually, because they're gonna.
No. Gonzaga would just throw the ball inside every time.
Yeah,
Air Force has no size.
Yeah,
I'd take Gonzaga by 45 in that game.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so Gonzaga, Santa Clara. This is a game I wanted to talk about because Gonzaga's on this 4-game under streak, and I actually think that could continue. And it's not so much the idea of teams trying to slow the ball down against Gonzaga, which I think is like the first thing that comes to mind, right? Like, oh, we got to slow the ball down against Gonzaga. It's more Gonzaga is just slowing the pace down themselves, which is kind of weird because that's not their MO. But Nick, I really think they're getting bored out there. I'm not even kidding. Like, you're up 20 points against some of these really bad teams. I think they're getting bored. I don't even know if that's a hot take at this point. Like, they're ready to play in the tournament. Like, this is just it's like it's a preseason type of feel. I don't know. It's very interesting to me.
I think that this game against Santa Clara is definitely a spot where we could see the understreak break. Personally, I think a lot of it is stylistic. Santa Clara is a fantastic offensive team, and they play at a tempo that is really high. I mean, it's not Gonzaga high, but they're top 25 in the country in tempo.
Mm-hmm.
And these teams put up like 200 the last time that they played. So I would be very hesitant to bet a Gonzaga under here.
Yeah, let me be clear. I didn't bet it, but it opened, I think, at 166, and it moved down to 164, Nick. So kind of interesting. I mean, 166 is a very high number as is, right?
Yeah.
But it's there for a reason, and I think you make the point about Santa Clara. Also, Gonzaga last game had, I think, one of their worst 3-point shooting percentage games of the season.
Yeah, they did, the bitches. They shot 4 of 18 from 3. And I look like an ass for giving them out on the Book It stream.
Nick, what's a Gonzaga team total here?
Gonzaga team total?
Maybe that isn't actually.
So if the spread is at 22 and the total's at 163.5, Gonzaga team total is at 90, like 92, 93-ish.
Mm-hmm. Where it should be.
Yeah.
These books do some weird stuff sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So what about Gonzaga covering? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like what Gonzaga are we gonna get? Like I know what Santa Clara is gonna do, but I'm telling you, Gonzaga, Nick, I sense it as like an ex-college athlete. I can see it, but at the same time, like Coach Few could get in their faces and be like, guys, stop fucking around. Like, let's blow these guys out. Because we know when Gonzaga turns it up, Nick, like it's like, whoa, guys, like these kids have families out there, right? You know, like, so yeah, it's sketch. I do agree. I think it's hard to know what team you're gonna get.
Yeah, this is a for sure stay away spot for me. So
What else do we got in the chat?
I think an interesting one to talk about. Oh, so 2 interesting games. Kentucky today at home against Alabama, and Colorado State UNLV would have been another revenge game candidate.
That's okay. That's actually a good revenge game candidate. But let's talk about the first one, and then I'll get Colorado State.
Yeah. So do we have confirmed injury news for Kentucky? Like confirmed.
Nick, it's never like confirmed, and like, don't you feel like it's like? I mean, you can get the like 80%.
Yeah.
I just feel like you never know. Like the kids come out and you're like, wait, he was in a walking boot an hour ago, and you're like, yeah, it was precaution. He's good.
He had his leg amputated an hour ago. It was precautionary.
Yeah, he's on some good.
He's
meds.
fine.
He's fine. He's a kid. He's not LeBron out there. Ooh.
So for me, it's a little bit hard to feel that Washington is like confirmed out. I've seen a couple of people say he's like out in the chat.
That was Caps. So
yeah,
he's very adamant about it.
And it was Hinkle.
Oh, Hinkle, I got it. I'm sending out the shirt. My apologies, but you're getting the shirt.
It's all caps. It has to be true.
Yep.
So if Ty is out, I mean, it's just so sketch. Kentucky is. Kentucky's definitely a better team. I hate betting Alabama. I hate betting Alabama games, just
100%.
because it only comes down to just how hot or cold they get from 3. And who knows, right? If you know if they're going to shoot 20%, then you take Kentucky, and if you think Bama's going to shoot 50%, then you take Bama. I have no reason to know how they're going to shoot.
I'm looking at this graph, Nick, on Bart Torvik of their 3-point shooting. It's so inconsistent from the average mean. Like it's like do and then boom, boom. It's like it's crazy.
It is, yeah. I mean, literally, they shot 10% against Kentucky the last time these two teams played. 3 for 30. That's ridiculous.
Nick, they're a team that Nate Oates encourages to like continue to shoot. I think it's kind of like the analytics thing where it's like we're not going to keep missing, and then they just keep missing, and then you're like, no, okay, so now we're 3 for 20. Keep shooting, right?
Yeah. I mean,
6 for 30 last game.
Yeah, it's just not a team that I like betting on.
Yeah.
So
Colorado State.
Yeah, Colorado State, UNLV. Also, I guess I can say the model for Alabama, Kentucky real quick. So it doesn't know that Ty is out, which is a very important thing here. Model is not sensitive to player injury news outside of how it affects the underlying statistics that teams have. I have Kentucky winning and covering in the game.
Will says Nate Oates is a big analytics guy. I actually did not know that. I just assumed by the way they play.
Yeah, so actually here, so you know a team that plays very similar to Alabama, which is where Nate Oates came from, and I think it's one of his assistants who has the job there now. Think of the absolute most inconsistent mid-major teams.
I know this. It's in the Mountain West, right?
No,
Oh,
it's
As
in
soon
the
as
it's
you
in the
say it.
MAC.
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah, because he was on the team that upset Arizona, right? He was head coach, right?
hmm
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, and Buffalo is like a slightly worse mid-major version of Alabama.
What's IUPUI doing? I don't know what IUPUI means.
Yeah, I mean that's like where all caps, like just the name is all caps in general.
Yeah,
He could
well,
just be
and
listing every school very slowly.
yeah, but also I'm like, does that mean they're down 20
Oh
already?
no, they don't start for another 2 hours.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
I think he might have been answering the NATO's question. Most inconsistent teams. No, IUPUI is extremely consistent.
Yeah,
They're just consistently bad.
except for the last few. But I get what you're saying. Okay, Nick, let's talk about Colorado State. This is actually a really good one to discuss. So, like, for the revenge games, Nick and I were trying, for the category at least, we were trying to pick, like, a home spot where they lost on the road. But that UNLV game back on January 28th, UNLV literally shot the lights out in Moby Arena. Like, the lights were dim. Like, I remember watching that, and I'm like, I had Colorado State, and like I was like, this is done. They were just making everything. What's his face, Nick? Hamilton at 45.
Yeah, Hamilton went for 45. He was 8 of 14 from 3 and also got to the free throw line 14 times.
Yeah.
How
insane.
do you get 14 threes and 14 free throw attempts in the same game?
Well, one of them was a 4-point play, so that there was one of those.
But yeah, that accounts for 1 on each side.
Yeah, one of the free throws. But Colorado State is a team that I'm always a little skeptical on the road, right? Because the altitude, they don't have that in their favor.
I mean, is it such a big deal in the Mountain West, right? Like, half of these teams play at altitude.
Yeah, but UNLV is not one of them.
Isn't Las Vegas like 3,000 feet or something?
I thought it's...
I mean, you like have to go down the mountains on the other side to get to California.
Let's see, 2,000.
2,000?
So, I mean, it's not like a... Yeah, all right, that's fair.
Yeah. 2001. That extra 1 foot makes a huge difference.
No, we need to know exactly where the arena's at. UNLV, man, doesn't this feel kind of trappy for Colorado State? Like, because if I had to, I would bet Colorado State if I had to pick a side. But
I mean, of course you would. You never bet against Colorado State.
no, I'll bet against them.
You've bet on Colorado State like 10 times this year, and never against them.
I think I'm exactly 5-5 too, so that's not profitable. But Nick, 4.5, 5, right? Oh, man, that's. I have to stay away from this one. It's so trappy. What does the model say?
Model actually has UNLV winning the game.
Yeah, it's trappy.
Yeah, and this UNLV team is kind of underrated, I think.
Yeah.
They're certainly not a bad team, especially at home.
4.5, yeah. So Colorado State beat New Mexico last game. This is their third straight road game. Yeah, this is one of those spots. I think you're playing UNLV or you fade this. I really do.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good spot. I think it's a stay away spot, especially with considering the revenge factor and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not a place I want to have any coins deployed.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, guys? Got a few minutes. We can.
So Craig asked a question about one of my schools, so I'm going to answer that. Pitt at home against Georgia Tech. Seeing Pitt as a favorite in ACC play makes my head spin. I went to Pitt for grad school, for anybody who is unaware. This Pitt team, though, is playing a little better. They've actually won 3 straight games. They knocked off Florida State on the road. I think Florida State, honestly, at this point, just health considering, might be the worst team in the ACC because everybody's hurt. They're probably not actually the worst team in the ACC, but they're really bad right now. And then Pitt knocked off NC State at home and won at North Carolina somehow. So that's since since what's his name, Ithiel Horton has come back into the starting lineup. It's 3 straight wins for Pitt. So I think they're kind of starting to gel together a little bit. And I do like them at home against Georgia Tech today. It makes me feel very uncomfortable to say that I like Pitt as favorites.
Yeah, it's
but,
uncomfortable to hear.
So Xavier and UConn, they're already started. So I have nothing to say about that. Anything else? I mean, I see a bunch of games. I don't have thoughts on everything. So Bryce asked about Wake Forest. Wake Forest.
I have a thought on that.
What's your thought on that?
So I bet the over at 141.5.
Just want to brag about your CLV.
Oh, 100%. Give me my CLV trophy. But I didn't see what the model has for it, so now I'm scared.
So model's been very biased towards Wake Forest unders because of their massive turnover problem. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that's why, at least.
What is it at? Is it?
It's like one of the ones that's way too far under. It's like it's just ignore it.
Yeah, but
it's because they've turned the ball over like 20 times a game.
Yeah.
So
question on the model side with turnovers, how does it factor in like points off turnovers, or is that just indirectly in the model?
So what it is the first step is just to calculate how many possessions each team is going to have.
Yeah.
And teams with crazy turnover problems like Wake Forest, they just get modeled to have less possessions.
Gotcha.
And because of the correlation between the possessions that the two teams have, it's just very biased towards unders, even if it's not actually going to be the case.
Gotcha.
Do either of us like Arkansas?
Never been.
I don't think I've ever been to Arkansas either.
Yeah, I've been to Alabama once.
I've driven through Alabama twice.
They have very nice beaches in Alabama. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, down on the Gulf.
Yep. Florida. Oh, that's Florida-Georgia line. I was like, Bama in that? No, never mind. Florida-Georgia line. I don't have any thoughts on that.
No, neither do I. Model has Arkansas by 2.5. But that's not really a game that I want to touch. It's going to be a good game, but not one that I want to touch. Do we like Valpo today? I've seen Valpo come up in a couple times in the chat. That's just a disgusting game, I think. Yeah, I mean Evansville's really bad also.
Yeah, I would lean Valpo.
I would lean Valpo as well.
But yeah.
I haven't looked at it super close yet.
Ooh, Nick, one that I want to bring up, I think it's a good one to talk about, Drake and Loyola. Because this was a revenge candidate, but I actually like Drake, Nick.
Yeah, I think it's a good spot for Drake to cover. I think 7's a lot. If this is still at 7.
Yeah, and Nick,
guess even 7.5.
Guess what Loyola was favored by at home in that first matchup?
It's at Loyola now, right?
Yes. So Drake
they played both games at Loyola.
Oh, sorry. No. Loyola was Drake was home in the first matchup.
Yeah, I would guess that was probably like 1 or 2.
Yeah, it was 2. So now it's 8 or 7.5.
It's 7.5. I mean, that's a pretty standard shift.
Yeah. It's
for college basketball, 5 points. Yeah.
I think if we calculate it, it's closer to 4.
It really depends on the team, also.
Yeah.
I think
I like Drake though.
I think 2.5 is the average for home court, and I think Loyola with being a good team. I think 2.5 to 3.
Let me see here. I'm trying to see what the model has for that one.
I've got Drake covering. It's like 4.5 to 5-ish.
Yeah. I actually like. I think that's a good spot. I think they can keep that within 8. I do.
Yeah.
That's gonna probably make my. What time does that start? Did it hopefully not start yet? I didn't bet it.
No, it's afternoon. It's 6 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, I'm officially gonna bet that one.
All right.
Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Not gonna run through everything. Portland and
Duke.
Pepperdine, no.
Portland's like
Especially with the disgusting lips emoji. Only if you put the eyes next to it.
I think that's
my favorite thing.
Nick, I think this is Portland's best season in like 10, 15 years. And they're 15 and 12.
And that's saying something because they're still bad.
You know, their head coach came from Eastern Washington. Yeah. I was gonna say one last thing. Too fucking humid. I don't think he's talking about.
I think he's talking about Alabama.
I was like, what? Illinois money line looking good.
They're up 17-8.
Let me know when it's
got
like the last 5 minutes.
Starting forward, Gabe Brown from Michigan State has 2 fouls already as well.
Ooh, that's big.
That is big. But yes, we're not mushing it. We're not jinxing it.
That's like a field
still
goal. In football.
Still got 30 minutes to play.
That's nothing.
So I think it is time to wrap up.
Yep.
I've got to go keep looking through today's slate. But we can feel free to take the conversation over to the Discord. Be happy to keep talking about stuff there. There's a link to that in the chat. If anybody has not joined up and would like to do so. It's a great environment for mostly friendly sports betting discussion. I mean, I would say it's certainly among bigger Discord communities on the very positive and friendly side of things, which I like.
Yeah, people are there to win some bets.
Yeah, we're all there to make money. We're not there to meme and we're there to meme, but we're not there to meme at people. We're there to meme with people.
You fucking suck, man.
Mm-hmm. VM Hitman asked pick of the day. So Ben's favorite pick today is Stanford -2.5 at home against Colorado. I like Eastern Washington -4.5 on the road at Idaho, and Chat voted for Auburn -4.5 at Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So also, I will say if you have not dropped a follow on the stream, we would appreciate that if you would do so. I see we've got a bunch that have come in over the course of the stream. Got Public Nightmare, Farillo, J Was, Trapaholic, J Rose, Fitz, Coin Snatcher, JB, Player Slayer, Shark, and CT Jewel. Thank you guys for the follows. Got a little bad at shouting those out. It's kind of hard to do so when there's people who aren't Capwise affiliated on stream. I don't like doing that. And Hitman, thank you for the follow as well. And also, since it's Ben and I today, I will make a little Twitch Prime statement. So if you have an Amazon Prime account, which I know we all do, you can link your account with your Twitch account since Amazon owns Twitch. Wow, I typed it and then the chat bot immediately gave the same command.
That's a sign.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Nick. You know what else is looking good? A subscription, because we have some new emotes coming.
Yeah, we do. We have emotes on the way that are being made. We have sub badges being made. Everything is going to be nice. But again, if you want to support the channel, link that Amazon Prime account and that Twitch account. Click the purple subscribe button and subscribe for free. It's a perk that you pay for with Amazon Prime. Use it here. Use it somewhere else. But make sure you use it.
Nick, it's 10:30 Mountain Time, so that means a MSR hour has begun.
I have no idea what you just said.
Honestly, that would be such a good, like, if you were an attractive female and did like a live sweat stream, just like ASMR. Eastern Washington is up 15. Do we want to live bet it? I think that would do well.
Rev, you have to call that foul.
Wait, who has 2 fouls?
Gabe Brown.
Gabe Brown has 2 fouls. Live bet Illinois. right.
Okay, that's enough.
Numbers are dropping. Actually,
yeah.
numbers are going up, Nick. Numbers
have never been higher.
Scrunch, man, you can't be liking when we do that. That's weird. Yeah, I'll whisper it. Yeah. That's simp activity.
Every day, yeah. Ben, you can't say that word on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I said sync.
It's a simple activity to do.
Yeah. I've been so good. That's a nice slip up. All right, I gotta go get ready for this IUP. Gotta go get my nachos.
Gotta get lubed up for IUPUI. I'm ready.
Last thing I want to say, Buzz was like, I'm taking a shot for every point that Oakland wins by.
Oof, yeah.
What does he have to do since they lost by, 4?
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. Anyways. All right. Best of luck, guys. Get these bets in.
Yep.
And, let's have a... Oh, Scrunch, man. You can't be saying that, man. You can't be saying that.
All right, yeah. It's time. Good luck, everyone. I'll be back on Monday with data mining for Model Mondays. See ya.